So 3 Italians and a German do a podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Nightmares Podcast. I'm, of course, Mark, and I'm here with the usual suspect of switching the cameras and controlling the sound, Zach. He's hanging out. He can wave. He's got his own camera, too. And then I am here, of course, with the fantastic Vinny Prisco, who's hanging out with us today. He's in the Freddy versus Jason thing. We're adding in new angles here. And then we have, of course, this is his second time around, but he's hanging out by himself. Lon Czarnecki.
Almost fucked it up then.
Almost. I almost fucked it up, but I did not. Sir, introduce yourself for those new people that are stopping by.
Lon Czarnecki. You want me to give the whole spiel of everything?
Absolutely, give the whole spiel all about you.
All right. One half owner of Black Martin Brands. We do horror, housewares, collectibles. We do props for haunted houses and the like. And then the new Monster Purge coming this October to St. Charles, which we'll get into.
It's gonna be a really fucking awesome time. I'm actually really excited. So Lon and I and the rest of the crew have actually known each other for quite some time, probably coming up on 3 years now.
Right.
I met him through. I actually met him through a networking event that was completely unrelated to all of this. I was trying to get his business at another job I was at.
And that was actually for a different business. I own.
Yeah, correct. And then you know what? I didn't get the sale, but I ended up winning the friendship, which I was much happier because I'm not with that company anymore anyway. So I was very happy to walk away with the friendship than the sale in that particular regard. For our guests, maybe we'll do more of a deep dive on how you got into everything and your passion for horror, because I know we had a very long conversation the last time you were on, but for the new people stopping in, where did all this the crazy fandom of horror start for you, man?
Yeah, there was a conversation we had back at Ghoulish Mortals.
Yep.
I don't know, like a decade ago.
It feels like it. Great
place. Anybody who's interested, go to ghoulishrmortals.com or ghoulishrmortals.shop. But for me, I was ever since I was a little kid, watched horror movies. And my dad used to work late sometimes, and he'd come home, and the two of us would watch horror movies online. And, we're talking Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula, the classics.
All the best.
And Svengoolie was the guy that we watched.
Of course.
And even back then, it was more... Well, actually, it was still Son of Svengoolie mostly there, but we caught a little bit of the reruns of the actual Svengoolie, the original. But there was one specific movie that I remember when I was a kid watching that scared the living shit out of me. And it was called The Crawling Hand. Now, The Crawling Hand was a very old movie.
I love how Vinny is the only other person at this table who's actually seen that movie.
I've actually only seen parts of it. It's familiar, but I remember seeing, I think I actually saw it advertised on Svengoolie.
Yeah, right. That's why I saw it was on Svengoolie show.
Yeah, but this was the later Svengoolie that I think on 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
You probably saw the original.
It was. The movie was about a guy out in space, an astronaut out in space, who gets a space disease and wants to come back. And they said, no, you can't come back. You've got a space disease. He's like, well, I'm coming back anyway. So they blow up his ship on the way in. But since he blows up on re-entry, as they shoot him up, his hand comes through the atmosphere and his hand survives. And his hand lands on the ground, and now it's alive and goes to get revenge on everybody who blew up his ship and stopped him from coming in. Sensational movie, scared the shit out of me, and I remember waking up the next morning because I had nightmares all night, and I was tossing and turning, and I woke up the next morning exhilarated by that experience and loved that I was terrified and the thrill it gave me, and I was like, yeah, this is for me. So I just was watching horror movies my whole life, pretty much. So.
Nice. And then you eventually decided to turn it into some type of business because you have a marketing background, and you have a couple other businesses that you've done over the years, and then eventually landed on this wonderful business venture that you're doing right now.
Yeah. So for my day job, I say my day job, but really now they're all my day job. But my original day job was graphic design, websites, multimedia, advertising, marketing.
Wow.
And I still own that company. I still have that one. And when I say own that company, it's me. It's not like I have 30 people with me. But,
your entourage.
Right. But that was the vehicle for me to get to work out of my house. And then at one point, I started Black Martin Brands. We'd always, my wife who's also big into horror, Amy Martin. So much so that was kind of one of our bonding things, was the horror connection. And we loved it so much we actually got married on October 31st, 2013 now. But we would always watch the horror movies. There's weeks and months where we'd go by and we watch at least one horror movie every night.
That's fantastic.
And sometimes 2 and 3. So that's why it's hard for people to come up and say, oh, well, did you see this movie? And like, I own it on DVD. So we started the collection that way. And we always did a home haunt. So we had a house surrounded by kids, Pingree Grove. And we had a lot of kids that came into the house, and we would do our own haunted garage walkthrough kind of thing. And we didn't buy, back then, Spirit Halloween sucked, right? They didn't really have some good stuff. And we made all our own stuff. And after a while, it was like some of the other families that did haunted houses, they're like, that's cool. Can you make one of those for me? And I did for them. And then next thing you know, I'm making more and more props for things. And so we said, hey, why don't we just start a business? So we started making, Amy was doing dolls and I was doing some props. And that's how Black Martin Brand started. Black Martin took off, we started doing the shows and the conventions and all that stuff. And it was great. Got a lot of popularity, got a lot of good feedback. We started selling in stores like Ghoulish Mortals. And now we sell a lot of our stuff at all the haunted houses in the area. They all have gift shops at the end, and it's all our stuff in their gift shops. For Evil Intentions, for Hell's Gate. So we're expanding that, and then we decided, well, what we really want to do is have a haunt of our own, too. But starting a haunted house is really expensive and very, very difficult to find the location and all that stuff. So we started Monster Purge, which is a haunted paintball excursion.
Which is pretty fantastic.
That's the one that's starting
amazing.
this fall.
Yeah. That we're all very excited about. But hey, real quick, I wanted to ask you this question before I even forget, because it sounds like, or at least from what I gathered from our conversations over the years, over the decade that you say, that your horror fandom kind of even started before you were born, because your name is Lon, supposedly named after Lon Chaney. Did you ever get a story behind that?
Yeah, there's a story.
From your parents and everything else?
Right. So it's not, basically my parents used to go to movies and look through the credits for name ideas when they were pregnant.
Wow.
And it was actually,
cool.
They went and they were watching, because there was the reruns on TV too, so they don't have to always go to a theater for a lot of the stuff. Oh, yeah, sorry.
A little bit. You can just pull it up and adjust it.
So they didn't have to go to, a movie theater to see it, although that's what they did most of the time. Because my parents were into the horror movies too. Not like that was their favorite thing, but they didn't hate them. And they went to see the Wolfman. And in the credits and the Lon, they're like, Lon's a great name. We love Lon. My dad's Polish. My mom's Italian. 100% on both sides. Lon is the farthest thing from a Polish name or Italian name as you can get.
Very
far.
Irish.
Yeah. It's Irish. So I'm like,
is it real? I didn't know that. Okay.
Because Lon Chaney, and Chaney's Irish.
Chaney was Irish. Okay.
Nice.
But anyway, so they liked the name Lon, and eventually they named me Lon.
That's fucking awesome, man.
So,
because
technically.
and Vinny has like one of the biggest fandoms of the old school Universal monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And like that's where he fell in love with horror.
And Lon Chaney, actually.
Oh yeah, he got
Senior. I like Junior too, but Senior is what.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. He's what got me into silent cinema and seeing like the silent films and all that. Whereas, probably Frankenstein, Boris Karloff, and Dracula Bela Lugosi got me started on horror.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was more the classic. Frankenstein is still one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he actually, he said many times that his favorite though is Bride of Frankenstein, the sequel.
I think I'd have to give that one like my favorite. I don't know. I think that's like one of the best horror films ever made. Still.
Yeah, very nice.
But
the fandom, because and actually it's kind of interesting because I've kind of got a horror education from two different angles from this situation. Is like I got the 80s from Zach, which is the quote unquote golden age of horror.
Totally
and then Vinny's like, well, hold on a second, like, you don't understand where all this shit came from. Like, you got to understand that, like, the Universal was the one who started all this, and you got Dracula, Wolfman. I know it was a little bit later, but in the 50s, but A Creature from the Black Lagoon is right in there. That's more of the 50s drive-in.
Wolfman
type of shit.
Wolfman
So I mean, it's all there, and like, and I actually like. Actually, just a completely, funny tangent. I was talking to a coworker of mine, and we were talking about horror, and I'm like, and he was like, well, I've been passively, but I want to get more into horror, and I'm like, if I had to do it over, if I had to do the whole thing over and start from the very beginning with the same experience, I would do it in chronological order. I would go and start with the Universal monsters, and then go into there, and then go all the way until Creature, and then I would go and explore the 50s drive-in shit, and do all that stuff. 50-foot woman. The day that was still all that shit, and then go into like 60s, 70s. Either Bonicelli, and then also like 70s exploitation.
Right.
And
now you get more into the grindhouse.
Yeah, the grindhouse.
Exactly.
That shit like blends
Sounds great.
together within the 60s and 70s. Also, Vinny's a massive fan of the grindhouse and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
some of that stuff.
and then go into the 80s and and just stay there in the 80s. You don't need to go very far. You'll figure it out.
See, but to me though, if you had it to do over again, and you say you'd start from the beginning, but really, the way you look at horror is formulated by the era you started watching.
Absolutely.
And for a lot of people, it was the 80s because that was the one that really got it going. And then for other people who are more the purists, who want to see the classics that kind of got it, like myself, started on the classics because I was born before the 80s, but then when the 80s came, I was already raring to go.
Wait, you were born before the 80s?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
oh my God.
Who knew?
Nobody else here.
And he's hanging out with the young kids over here, the youngins.
But that's just it. It's one of those things that it's like it depends when you started watching horror, and that's if you like it or not. A lot of the kids these days, like any post-millennium, like we're talking born 2015 or later, or even 2010 or later, are into a different sort of horror genre. They're just now getting to appreciate the 80s stuff. Forget about getting them all the way back to the
20s. Yeah, that's what I hear you. It was more be like it was almost like me more of like teaching a class rather than giving advice at that point. Yeah. The history of horror at that point. But in the 80s were very very different. They have the phenomenal documentary on Shudder. In Search of Darkness is tremendous. This isn't sponsored by them, but if you have not checked it out, I highly recommend it. It is fantastic. It goes through every single year. Vinny and I keep trying to finish it, but it's fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, I want to finish it because there's
3 hours.
Well, you said there's like a part. I think there's a part 2, right?
There is a part 2.
There's a total of 3 parts now.
And there's also In Search of...
there's In Search of the Action Hero, In Search of the FPS.
In Search of Tomorrow, which is about sci-fi.
Oh my God.
I don't know if the sci-fi one released yet.
It has released, but it isn't available on a streaming service. And there's a part 1, 2, and 3. And the funny thing is as they go up in the parts, it gets more about the independent shit and like the lesser known. And like 3 is like just straight up shot on videotape. Like shit. They're like, that's like Lost to Time and Diner 3D. Death Diner or Blood Diner or whatever, that you tell me. I gotta watch that movie. But the thing is too is when they're examining it, you gotta there's a couple. It was a perfect storm of a lot of things. One, and for people who don't know, and Lon can probably appreciate this because this was a tail end from the 80s to the 90s. Okay. A culture of competition was not only accepted but celebrated. You were never about like trying to do remakes. You were always trying to outdo the other person, and that was in a lot of different ways. And it went full force within the horror community. It was never about trying to copy anybody or do anything. It wasn't half time wasn't even about the fucking money. It was about like, let's make the coolest, most outlandish shit we possibly could. And the other part of that too is the part 2 of that is the economy was ready for that, and more specifically, the rental video system opened up a lot.
Straight to videos
opened up so much business for all this, and also too is just the economy was very good in the 80s, especially in the later 80s. Went off a cliff at the end of the 80s, but while they were flying through the air, they got an opportunity to make some really really cool shit, and even the lesser known studios like Viacom and like who are the motherfuckers who did Dirty Dancing, but they also did like all the other horror
because they still needed to make money.
Yeah, they still needed to make money and everything else.
What were like some of the highlight like direct to video ones from the 80s?
That's
like some of the better ones.
Yeah,
because now you're talking matter of opinion.
Yeah, I guess I would say better ones, and like specifically that were the big horror.
You're going to go mostly sequels with those. So to me, it seems like all the mainstream, all the first round videos that made it to a theater was celebrated or had poor ratings and stuff like that, and somebody said, let's make a sequel to that, but you only have $50,000 to do it, or whatever the budget is. And they said, okay, well, we can't get it in the theaters, so it's just going to be a straight-to-video one. And that point was that just to crank them out as much as they can.
Wow.
Those are the ones that went right to video, because then you have 2 and 3 of some videos that were like never meant to be 2 or 3. I think some of them would be like Slumber Party Massacre. That one had like 3 sequels to it.
Okay.
All of them were straight to video.
You would think that they would stop having slumber parties at that point.
I didn't know any of those were direct to video.
There's a lot of them that you'd be surprised were direct to video, because there's so many of them that went direct to video.
Wow.
And if you go to a theater, if you go to a there's no video stores either anymore.
No more.
Right. That's the sad thing.
But when you used to be able to go to a video store, you go to Blockbuster and you look at all the videos that are there, and you're like, oh, I remember hearing this one, but I didn't know there were 6 sequels to it. Well, that's because they all went straight to video. You never heard about them.
Okay.
So that's really a good way to tell.
Like what 50? Zach, didn't you say like 15 Krampuses? I think there's like 15.
Oh, they're like by all different makers.
They're all different makers.
Yeah,
they're not even
studios.
Yeah, there's so many fucking Krampuses.
They're not even like related. Some of those are almost like rip-off.
They are rip-off.
Yeah,
Mother Krampus, I remember Mother Krampus was one of those that went straight to
Mother Krampus.
video or streaming. Now it doesn't go to video. Now it goes straight to streaming. So.
Oh my god.
Mother Krampus looked like, at least I haven't seen it, but the artwork she looked like just a killer Mrs. Claus. Like, I don't know where.
And that was sort of it, actually. It was just a demented, twisted. They try to spin up the whole like she's messed up in the head kind of thing, but it was nothing to do really with Krampus.
And and that's the thing, man, is that like that, and that was a huge selling point too for the Blockbuster video. You had to have that killer artwork,
right?
Maybe because you had to attract somebody. I mean, like you had to go like they had to look it up, and even if the movie was shit, like if you had the good artwork, like people took chances back then on shit, like way more chances on shit that could be possibly hot fucking garbage.
Dude, the amount of movies and games I bought just based off the artwork back in the day was amazing.
Exactly, but think about how many times you rented a movie where the cover was so kick-ass, and then you watch the movie and you're like, this is a hot pile of shit.
Oh, I have a movie in mind for that. And unfortunately, this wasn't even an old one. This was like 12, 13 years ago. A friend and I, we rented a movie it was trying to be based on an H.P. Lovecraft work. It was called Beyond the Walls of Sleep. And this movie's cover looks like really creepy, really disturbing. And my friend was a Lovecraft fan at the time, and he was like, can we rent this one? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's watch it. And oh my god, it was beyond atrocious. Like it was just, and I think afterwards I remember him just being like, I am so sorry, Vinny. I am just so sorry. And I was like, well, whatever.
We both took the risk, man.
They put all their budget into the cover art of the DVD, but whatever.
Right.
But
that's what sold it, man.
Yeah.
Isn't Lovecraft or H.P. Lovecraft's work? What the hell is it?
That's Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
No, like
Reanimator as well.
Getting the rights to it, like it's open domain or something.
I think it is.
Public domain.
Public domain.
I think it is.
Oh, that would actually make a lot of sense.
There's a lot of authors that they're doing that with. That anybody who was public domain, they took those stories, because that was the other thing. So think about that. There's no good storylines out there. You know, a lot of the horror movies that were coming out that were going straight to video, they didn't want to waste money getting somebody to write a good script, so they had to find a story somewhere. So a lot of times they'd do any open domain stuff. and
That makes sense.
and pull that off and make a story out of that.
And dude, so many of those movies, dude, were really like this thing with horror. Sometimes I think that there's like, in my mind, there's there's two types of horror movies, or they're a combination of the both. Either they are movies that you just go for fun to watch people fucking die in creative ways, and like you go for the effects, or you have a horror movie that is saying something. The now to the effect of its success is irrelevant in this conversation, but that's really at the end of the day, like it's one of those two movies. Either you go for fun and like you just want to see people fucking die, or you do go to the movie. It's the difference between Freddy versus Jason and The Shining.
I totally understand that.
It's
Right.
what are we doing? Are we talking about something, or are we just going to do that? And again,
Right.
there are ones that are combinations of both. I would actually Reanimator. Perfect example. I think has some fucking awesome shit going on. Special effects are dope, and it's probably one of my favorite. Up there with some of my favorite stories of horror movies. So, and also too, Jeffrey Combs' performance in it is fucking killer. It's a great movie.
Totally agree.
The ultimate example of neutral evil. It just goes with whatever works for him. Although he made a lot of people upset in our friend group because he killed a cat. A lot of people.
Like a couple times.
Yeah, a couple times actually. Like he killed it, brought it back, and then killed it again.
I wonder who that person you're talking about.
That's the first one.
That's
Yeah,
the first one he did.
I have not seen any of the sequels.
I started watching.
I've not seen any of the sequels yet.
Really?
No.
I started watching 2.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I need to finish it. Actually.
Okay, so first of all, because I'm a huge fan of Reanimator, so I have to watch all of them.
I get that.
I'm somewhat of a completist in that respect.
Sure.
Understood,
So
sure.
you just got to see them all. And they're not as good as the first one, of course, but you're not really going to see it to be as good as the first one.
Sure.
Because like The Bride of Reanimator was entertaining on its own right. It kind of sucked. But even when you're talking Reanimator movies, even when they suck, they're really still pretty good.
Right.
It's still got the gore, and it's still got the weird thing, and it's still got Jeffrey Combs doing his thing. And you still got the whole premise of the green goo, the serum going into. I mean, that's what you watch it for.
Well, yeah, and
Right.
and I just it's just so funny, like especially like all the memes that came out that have Reanimator in it, like
Yeah.
like it's like when I watch horror and it's just like a really good scene, and then when my parents walk in to watch horror, it's the head giving head.
Oh my god.
and you go, oh no, and that's the problem, dude. And I had this discussion about video games, and it's almost the same thing with horror. Is that in order to get to these amazing stories, you have to go through the vehicle of either horror or video games, and sometimes both. I almost get disappointed when I talk to Zach, gets it for 100%. But when you have all these amazing stories, very specifically like BioShock, which is right behind me, in order to get to that story and basically say, it's Ayn Rand's worst nightmare, you have to get it through the vehicle of video games. And it's the same thing with horror. Like, there's a lot of cool shit that gets said in horror, but it sucks that most of the masses, if you can't stomach horror, you'll never get to those good stories. And that's the one bad byproduct. And that's why I sell horror a lot of times on one of those two premises. Either it's going to be balls to the wall fun, or it's going to be, but I always try to sell people on the story. I introduce people to really good quality horror movies that I'm like, hey, there's some really good shit to be said here, like Reanimator, like Us, which is a little bit more modern, like The Shining, a lot of Stephen King, not all of Stephen King, but a lot of Stephen King, not Maximum Overdrive,
but yet that was still a fun movie, wasn't it?
It was.
It wasn't a good movie.
It is not a fun. It's
You
so
didn't like it?
fucking boring. He must think he's
That
fucking.
movie was boring as fuck.
Dude, once
See, I
they
gotta
got to,
actually see
dude,
this
once they get to the
once.
gas
This is-
station, it's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And he, dude, and he probably that's okay. That movie
Yeah.
is the example of walking into a bar at 2 a.m. sober.
Wow. I
The
instantly understand what you're talking
yeah,
about.
like it's like you are not on everyone's fucking level
Okay.
at that
All right.
point, and you're like, what the fuck is going on in this
All right.
place?
I dig
And
it.
in this case, it's more about being on everyone's coke level than it is on being on everyone's drunken
Which is
level.
what that was filmed.
He was
during.
high as fuck,
Oh, yeah.
and also
Absolutely.
Emilio
That's
Estevez
right.
also was
Yep.
high as fuck in that movie too.
Yes.
He talks about I did coke with Stephen King on
Right,
that set.
right.
They
The,
actually got Emilio Estevez for
yes,
that movie.
they did.
Yeah,
He's
that
in
was-
that movie, and also
And this was back then. Well, that was the name, right? That was like they wanted to promote the movie, so they got him, and he was a big name at the time.
And also the voice of Lisa Simpson, and she is literally the most annoying fucking character, and she just screams the entire fucking movie.
Really? Lisa Simpson is in that? Oh my God.
She's terrible.
She's horrible.
And also, dude, fucking Commissioner Gordon from the original Batman series is in there too. He's the shop owner, the fat Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking like 66 or are we talking Pat probably talking the Burton guy, right?
Burton
Pat Hingle.
Pat Hingle's in that movie, and he's like this. He's this old like weird curmudgeon like owner that just so happens to have fucking like RPGs in his basement. For whatever fucking reason, he's like, I just had them down here for a rainy day. I'm like, what the fuck rainy day are you talking about, dude? Don't get me wrong. And then you're coming from a supporter of 2A, but like, what the fuck are you expecting, bro? You know what though? But I've seen so many movies though. Like, what happens if you have a tremor situation? You know, you're in the middle of the desert. Right. You know, and by the way, you talk about an awesome sequel. Yeah. Part 2 of Tremors is fucking awesome.
Listen, I'm a fan of all the Tremor movies, even the ones that suck, and the ones with the variants of Tremor creatures that make no sense. And
now,
why are they burrowing
when you
underground?
say all the Tremor movies, are we talking about the ones after 3? Or hell, even after 4. I know some people like that one. I'm very in the middle about that one. But everything after 4.
Let's just say I just recently, a month or 2 ago, saw the most recent one, which I think is 7.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
It's 7 now, and I was entertained. Look, nothing's going to beat the first one. It's one of those things that the sequels.
I respectfully disagree. 2 is a much better movie.
Dude, 2 is a lot of fun. Dude, 2 is fucking. What's also it's because of what's his face. It's not because what's his character's name?
Bert.
It's because of Bert. Like that's the dad from Family Ties.
Right.
And that's weird. Ironically enough, though, guess whose favorite horror movie the first one is?
Whose?
My dad.
He likes the first.
That's his favorite. He's like, I can every time it's on. It's a remote drop movie.
Really?
He's like, I cannot. He's like,
his favorite horror movie of all time is Tremors.
He's not a big horror fan.
He must not.
He's like,
what is it about it that made it his favorite?
He just loved. He's like, it's like they're so fucking stupid. It's so funny.
Wait a minute. I can name a billion horror movies with stupid.
I know, but like for whatever
Yes.
reason, this one fucking just struck a fucking chord to him. Although of course, you've seen scarier ones. I mean, he saw Nightmare in the theaters, and he has and literally some chick like with nails like dug into his fucking hand.
That's why
during Nightmare. But like he's like, I cannot turn it off. It's like watching a bad car wreck.
Wow.
He's like, I love it. Like they're so we destroyed it. Repeat. There is another one. There is another one.
Well, more power to him if that's what he likes.
And man, did they fuck up not getting Kevin Bacon on there? They should have figured it out. Like I know he said yes to Apollo 13, and that's the reason why he wasn't in the second one. And I get that they should have figured it out in the schedule. To not have Kevin Bacon come back when he wanted to was kind of a disappointment.
But you're also thinking back in a time when the sequels didn't always match up to it, and that was more of a rare thing back then. You still had it, but like Aliens was better than Alien, I think.
That is a very strong statement.
I'm telling you, I liked it better, but I still love Aliens. Of course.
Yeah,
I agree with Lon.
But Aliens, the sequel, was better than the first one.
Although, Zach has a really interesting story. Because I remember him telling this story a couple years back. He's like, I never considered Alien to be a horror movie until I did this.
You consider sci-fi?
So I started with Aliens. Aliens was my first Alien movie. I didn't see Alien until like many years later. So I saw Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and then many years later I saw 1.
Well, that's why.
And then I just never considered it a horror movie. And then when Music Box was doing a special screening, me and Wes went to go see it, and it's just
35 millimeter print.
I see it now.
Awesome.
I absolutely seeing it. Seeing it in the theaters was a beautiful experience, and I'm like, I see the horror.
Right.
Awesome.
Dude. I mean, like that, especially that scene with the cat and everything else. Like that's almost like horror perfection to me.
To me, I totally agree with this in a certain respect, because a lot of those movies that were made really well, not made it as a schlock horror movie straight to DVD. The ones that actually concentrate on the story and made it into a movie, they weren't necessarily trying to make it a horror movie. They were just trying to make a really good movie.
Exactly.
It's got all the hallmarks of a good movie. You know, the monster kind of hiding in the shadows. You got those quirky things like you got the kid with the slight speech impediment or, you know, doesn't like to talk, and the cat, Jonesy, running around. I mean, all those little hallmarks. And Sigourney Weaver, you're going to win if you put Sigourney Weaver
Well, yeah,
in the
that's
movie,
true.
so.
That's true. You know, especially with, you know, and I still have such fond memories of randomly seeing her at the end of Cabin in the Woods. Dude, it's fucking great.
Good payoff. That was a good payoff because of who she was.
Lon, I have a very serious question for you about that movie.
Shit. What?
Who in their right fucking mind would invent a button that does that? And not even put. And by the way, there's not even a fucking like little plastic lock with a little locky thing. It's just there. It's just fucking there. What fucking engineer? Like this is like almost like the Star Wars debate about who the fuck would make one exhaust port that blows up the whole fucker. Like, and you go, what kind of fuck does that?
I can tell you, that was Joss Whedon making a joke.
About contractors?
That was Joss Whedon. Well, not necessarily about that, but that was Joss Whedon saying, well, you know what? Let's just blow up the whole thing with one big red shiny button.
Because why not?
Because why not? I mean, and that was sort of it. He was going for the absurdity of it. I mean, he had creatures. I don't know if you saw all the creatures that were in there in Cabin in the Woods, but they were absurd.
It got absurd. And by the way, too, there was a fun fact. There was supposed to be a tie-in between the video game Left 4 Dead and them, and actually
you could still see the tank in some of the shots.
You can still see the tank, and then also the blob and the witch in a couple of the out shots.
You mean the boomer?
The boomer, sorry, boomer. Yes, the boomer and the witch you can actually see in some of the cubes. And there was originally supposed to be a video game tie-in where you actually play a level in Cabin in the Woods, but it ended up didn't working out. But you could still see several of the characters from Left 4 Dead.
That would have been
I'm sure there's a mod for that somewhere.
Dude, there's a comedy sketch in there somewhere, by the way, like the fucking contractor didn't get his last paycheck.
Right,
so he's like, fuck these assholes. I'm gonna,
like 2 wires. There's a blow up.
There's a blow up and everything else. Like, we're gonna put the intern in charge of that fucking room and everything else. Like, this is where you hang out. I'm gonna put this over
right here. You have control with the self destruct.
Yeah. What are you doing over? Don't worry about it. Just like Men in Black, don't press the red button.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
And why is there a red button?
For reasons.
Yeah. Honestly, those are easy outs for a lot of ones. Like Star Wars, that was an easy out.
Yeah.
They just use that as an excuse.
Oh my god, dude!
Because they needed to blow it up, and well, what's the best way to do it? Well, how about if there's just an airport that goes all the way, like a air duct that goes all the way to the top and that goes right to the core and
it blows.
Sure. Yeah, let's just do that.
Why not?
Let's just get that going,
dude. There's a great comedy sketch on YouTube where they're literally making fun of it, and
wow.
and literally like the contractor's like defending himself. He's like, it's like, dude, it's fucking physics. It's an exhaust port. It goes out. If somebody blasted it in, they would just simply blow it out. You know what I didn't fucking account for? Goddamn space wizards. Nowhere in my fucking contract did it say anything about fucking dealing with space wizards. So you guys can go fuck yourselves.
Y'all motherfuckers said the Jedi were dead.
Oh, that's good.
They rule it to my ass. So
that's funny.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, like it's so funny. Like but you get into some interesting places though when you have those battles about alien versus aliens. That's like Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 right there. That's like those debates and everything else. Or even more relative to this conversation, Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. I've heard a lot of people, especially of the classics, really have a discussion about that. And I was going to ask you too, like what's something that just like that with the two different movies, Bride of Frankenstein specifically, that like pushes it over the edge for you? That you're like, if I had a gun to my head, I'm gonna pick Bride of Frankenstein over Frankenstein. Or maybe I'm wrong.
Mostly because you get way more development with the monster as a character. Okay. You get more story. Whereas, the first Frankenstein, it's a classic, it's great, but it's very much it's like a super simplified version of the original novel. It's about as simple as, okay, Dr. Frankenstein makes this monster. His family and some people, ex-teacher, whatever, show up, don't want him to do it. He's supposed to be getting married. He's doing this and that. He abandons the monster. He leaves the doctor to try to kill the monster after it has killed his assistant. But basically, he kind of just abandons the monster to be dissected in the tower that he's building. And then he goes to have his wedding day. Monster shows up and just kind of wreaks fucking havoc and then kills a few people. interrupts and screws up the wedding, and so the village and everything goes and hunts him at the just up to this windmill, and he supposedly gets burned in the windmill. But that the Bride of Frankenstein, of course, starts right actually where that I gotta be honest, I almost love watching them back to back as like one full
Yeah,
ride.
they can connect. I think
because
they
they connect really well. But Bride of Frankenstein, they introduce a great character that's kind of an interesting counterpart to Dr. Frankenstein called Dr. Pretorius, and this is the thing. Bride of Frankenstein, the movie, a lot of people probably who've never seen it would assume, oh, it's all centered around the bride and her. She shows up at the end for
So that was my biggest problem.
A couple minutes.
Yeah, she's not really even in the movie.
Not much.
Until the very end. And there's like an
end.
entire subculture of bride fans.
Right.
My wife being one of them, who just, it's just a great character.
It's iconic.
And there's nothing to it. It's here for 5 minutes, and she doesn't do anything but scream and look like a bird, She's looking around and stuff. And
she gets destroyed. He blows her up at the end in the castle, and she never came back.
Right.
So it's like, and then the other interesting thing is it explores almost like this humanity in the monster. Like you actually have him themes of like wanting to not be alone, seeking a friend, seeking
that's the
people
part I
to
liked
love
about
him.
it, because that was the whole thing, is that he finally found love and then had a broken heart.
Right.
And again, back to the subculture, everybody puts them together like this is true love.
Right.
No, she hated
rejects him. Yeah.
She hated the monster.
Yeah.
So,
she totally
it was
rejected him.
It was not a love story. It was a hate story.
Not at all. Yeah.
It was a bad breakup. It was a divorce story.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's like that meme I read about Romeo and Juliet. Like Romeo and Juliet is not a love story. It's a 5-day crush that resulted in 4 people's deaths.
Dying. Yeah, that's right.
Sincerely, everyone who fucking read it.
Such a stupid fucking
Vinny
story.
was in it.
It's one of the 7 storylines.
I was in a version of it.
I love it. I was in a version of it.
It could have been better.
I thought he was going to say it happened.
Well, I mean, when you it's too much of a tangent. That's a story for another time.
Fair enough. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it another time and everything else. So I love that, man. So let's chat. Let's take a shift of gears here a little bit. And let's chat about this new venture, man. Because you kind of went into it a little bit, but like I really want to give you an opportunity, man, to talk about the history, talk about how you discovered it, this opportunity, and how it's kind of evolved, and really fucking promote. Because I'm fucking stoked, man. I cannot wait. Do you gotta let me know when the family and friends day is? So because everyone at this table wants Vinny specifically. Actually, Zach and Vinny have both specifically sent me messages, or Zach sent me a message. Vinny talked to me personally. He's like, dude, you need to tell me when this shit's gonna happen.
Yep.
So
we're doing all the scheduling now. So we'll have that done. It'll probably be the weekend before we open, probably the Friday and the Saturday. We're going to do 2 separate runs for the friends and family thing. So we have at least 1 week to work out what needs to be improved, or
bugs,
what's great, and all that good crap. But we're going to be coming right down to the wire, man. This has been over a year in the making. Talked to a guy. So this guy, good friend of mine now, Bob. Bob had one of these vehicles, and out in Kansas City, and he was putting a store, at the end, or a gift shop or whatever, to add to his sort of haunted thing. And he found us and said, hey, I want to put your dolls in there. I want to put this, So he bought a bunch of our products to put in that store. And we were talking to him about it, and we met him at Transworld to kind of make the trade, right? We brought him a giant box of all the stuff and gave it to him there.
Which we really have to go to. This is the second time in 24 hours that we've been told about Transworld.
Listen, so Transworld, as you've already been told, but for everybody out there, Transworld is like the Halloween haunt industry show. That's where you have to be in the haunt world, own a store, own a haunt, something like that, be a mask maker, whatever, to get in. And so we were there, and at that time we were there as just buyers. right? But now we go to the show and we're sellers. So we have a booth at Transworld every year now. But at that time, we just hung out with him. So, and he bought it and he loved our stuff. And he's like, hey, let's go get a drink. And we're like, yeah, man, let's go get it. So we sat down and talked to him and he's like, yeah, this is my haunt. Here's what we do. Here's what it is. I'm like, that is kick ass. I can't believe you have it. And I guess I've been kind of dancing around it, but Monster Purge is a paintball zombie monster hunt. You get to hunt live action monsters and zombies in the woods with paintball from a monster truck. And it's not just a monster truck, it's a monster bus. It's massive. We'll show on the screen.
Yeah, here. We'll show some video and we'll cut to some good stuff here.
Yeah, so it's and Bob was showing me his, and it's I'm like, this is fantastic. He goes, yeah, I got some monster truck builders out in Idaho that built it for me. I'm like, introduce me. And luckily they were there. They were also at Transworld. And I talked to them, and it's this company, Live a Little Productions. Live a Little Productions does monster truck events. They build monster trucks. Skylar and his wife Brittany, they do truck pulls. They're the vehicle people, right? They're the kids. The way I put it out here, there's a dirt track out in, boy, now I got to go think about it. Sycamore Speedway. And they have all the farm kids that come out that build their own cars, and because they live on a farm, they put tractor tires on them and they build their own monster trucks. And this is Skylar and Brittany. They're farm kids who built their own trucks ever since they were kids. So, got in connection with them, talked about building one, talked about the money involved, and it took me a year to kind of get that situated. I kept in contact with Bob, went out to see his hunt, talking to Skylar all the time too about, all right, what about this? What about that? And so over a year later, we finally got the deal done. We just got our bus. Well, now I guess it's been almost a month. But we just got the bus delivered to it. And the thing is, Bob's bus, my friend Bob, he's got a 20-seat, Bob, if you're listening to this, I apologize ahead of time. He's got a 20-seat bus. And in talking to Skylar, and Skylar's like, yeah, we can go bigger. I'm like, hell yeah, I want the biggest, tallest, thickest monster truck bus you got. And they're like, you got it. So my bus
real thick boy.
They love them
thick boy.
So my bus has 41 seats on it. So I've got 41 guns on my bus. So it is almost
41 gun salute.
It is almost twice as big as my buddy Bob's bus.
I'm sure that goes over real well. I'm sure you guys played my bus is bigger than your bus.
He'll call me up. He goes, hey, we launched our website. You get your website up? I said, no, mine's next week. He goes, oh, we got our website up before you. I'm like, then he calls me up. He goes, we sold our first ticket. You sell your first ticket yet? And I said, no, we haven't sent that. I said, hey, I sold 5 tickets today. I only sold 1. So we do have a little thing kind of going back and forth.
Let's just call it what it is. It's a dick measuring contest.
Monster dick.
Those are always the best.
A 41-seat dick measuring contest.
There you go. And by the way, I won that. So just saying. I'm just saying. Technically, it's bigger. So it
would be wonderful to get through this fucking podcast without making dick jokes, but I don't think it's possible. It's
not possible.
That's right. We have those. We actually have fucking sound effects. He discovered it randomly yesterday. He's like, he pressed the wrong button. And now we got Vinny in the mix, so it's gonna be damn near impossible to not crack even more jokes.
Oh, that's
probably
funny.
Yeah, it's impossible. Anyway, back to your 41 dick bus.
I'll give you the quick stats on. So the bus itself is 13 feet wide, 14 feet tall, and almost 50 feet long. So it is awesome. Very large monster truck.
It's fucking dope.
And what we do is we drive it through the woods. We take it out back, and by the way, I was clearing out the woods last weekend, this past weekend, and I've got cuts all over my arms.
Yeah,
driving that brush hog to kind of knock down all those woods, and it was a pain in the ass. But because I want this to be a good experience, I want to drive through the woods. My buddy Bob does his out in the field, and I thought I want trees for them to hide behind. I want them to go through the woods so you feel that enclosed feeling, so it's a little bit more dark and scary and creepy.
Sure.
And,
Well, also too is you want especially if let's say it catches on and it becomes a bigger cultural phenomenon throughout the country. You want something that's more specific to Illinois or to the Midwest in general and have a different style than the rest of them. Every area should represent their own style.
Yeah, like their own setting and their own environment or something like that.
Because if you did one in New Orleans, you would want it to be very like swamp and bayou, and you would want something. So you want it to have its own unique twist and style to it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that was one of the things that I had talked about because Skylar, the guy who builds them, of course, he built the first one for himself. So they have one out in Idaho. I think it's Idaho and Nevada, one of the Idaho. And they did it one way, right? And they did a very heavy military zombie apocalypse kind of thing, which is great. Huh. My buddy Bob, he went more Americana. So his bus is like red, white, and blue flags all over the place. But he's out in Kansas City. And that's what he needs out in Kansas City.
So it's America.
Yeah, very much
America.
similar to that.
Yeah.
But it's very, very... I don't want to say... well, he's got a different version than what Skylar had. Because Skylar built his, and he's got a certain vision for it, and he's got his team, and that's the way they're doing it. Bob's a different guy, lives in a different part of the country. He adds his own twist to it. And when I saw those, and I know there was another guy out, I keep forgetting where, there's actually only like 4 buses, I think, out there. But the other guys were doing something a little different too. And I thought, well, I want it to be completely different. I said, I don't even want zombies. I want it to be monsters because I'm not hunting just zombies. One year I might do all werewolves, or another year I do all the classics, right? Do Frankenstein Bride out there running out there, or it could be zombies, or I got swamp monsters, or maybe I've got a mix. You go through one part and there's zombies in the graveyard, and the next section is going to be toxic zombies, and then maybe the next section is going to be swamp creatures.
I got an idea for you, but let me listen. But no, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you after the
All right.
podcast. Okay. It's in the same vein of 2 of Zach and I's favorite movies.
Okay.
So we'll
I have one, but should I not say it, or should I say it? Maybe we're thinking the same thing.
We might be. It's in the same vein of the Final Girls and Last Action Hero, but we'll get to that in a second.
I was thinking if you're out in the forest, you could do an Evil Dead kind of thing.
Fuck yeah!
Oh, I would love to do that.
That's
stay away from them trees, man.
Right.
They tend to get a little rapey.
Oh god.
Dude, I am not saying anything inappropriate. That is a factual thing.
Oh,
that's
what happened in the first movie.
That is a thing that happened.
If anybody's offended, blame Sam Raimi.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and he's counting his fucking Marvel money right now, so I don't think he gives a flying fuck what anybody thinks.
Right. Yeah.
He probably should, but
Hey, Lon, if you're doing anything Evil Dead related, just hand me the chainsaw and let me go to town. Okay?
Yeah.
You may want to have a lot of backup actors just on standby, but
Right, because you might maybe behead a few.
This is
also I require multiple boomsticks.
This is back to that joke of three Italians and a German walking into a haunted house.
Right.
Nobody else say boomsticks.
There's 3 Germans and an Italian walking to a.
No. In this case,
a lot
one
more
German.
fighting.
Yeah,
more yelling too.
Yeah, it'd be very loud. But yeah, it's the joke is 3 Italians and 1 German walk into a haunted house. No one else walks out. They're all in the back of a Cadillac.
Right, basically.
Little Willy
Look
the
at
Wisp.
this fucking trunk. You could fit like 5 bodies in here.
Or at least like a black Lincoln Continental.
I swear to God.
You can use a Lincoln Continental in a pinch if you need to.
You need it.
I swear to God, growing up, going through all the 80s even and the 70s, that was how we gauged a car. When looking at a car, we go to the back. Oh, that's a 3-body trunk right there. That's a 3-body trunk.
I wish,
I could do 4 bodies if I chop them up.
Vinny has not yet been in these conversations, but I cannot wait till it happens. Lon and I joke about growing up in Italian families all the fucking time, and we crack all kinds of jokes about upbringing.
And they're all the same jokes.
And they're all the same jokes. And it's amazing, like, there obviously is a generational gap, but it's amazing that it's pretty much the fucking same.
Yeah.
It's the Sinatra playing playing in the background.
Yep.
It's the smell of garlic. It's the it's the hey, what you doing? Come on now, hey,
what are you doing?
Hey, Kissy Fuck, come on, hey.
Look at that guy. He's built. Look at this eggplants on that guy.
You need something to eat. You need something to eat.
Fangula, come on. Or my favorite, Italians always do this. Every time they give advice, it's always either like, it's either I'm saying, but I'm not saying, right. Or it's but what the hell do I know? Right. We always give advice, but we give that little thing of like, just in case this advice fucks up your life, like it's take it with a grain of salt. So it's
but what the fuck do I know?
What the fuck do I know? I'm just some schmuck. What the hell do I know?
Followed up too by the ones like that's the way for them to say like, what do I know? I'm only the guy who created the fucking thing. So you do what you want.
Oh yeah,
and
Italians have perfected the hypothetical question. The ones that is impossible to answer. Like am I the asshole? Am I the asshole?
Right. I'm sorry. So now I'm the asshole. Oh, okay. All right, I got you now. That's what happens. I see what happens. I'm not the asshole.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I cannot tell you like that is like so like that. I've just always heard that in my life, and it's never directed at just somebody in general. It's just it's a check-in to make sure that that is the equivalent of the normal person asking, "Am I the crazy one?"
Right, exactly.
Asshole means crazy to Italians.
I think this just became Spaghetti the podcast.
Fangula, come on,
hey. Hey,
now that he found the button, he's never going to stop pressing it. That's what she said.
He's got his toys.
That's perfect.
Oh my god, this is so amazingly inappropriate. Zach, I wish you were there at that when Lon and I were talking. You would have thought we were walking off the fucking set of The Sopranos.
Oh, no, you never invite me to your double dates, all because I'm a single motherfucker. All right, but what the fuck do I know?
I'm sorry.
Very well used. Very well done.
Very nice. He's basically an honorary Dago at this point.
He's been around.
Shit, been around my fucking family long enough.
Sorry to hear about that.
Hey, what am I the asshole?
Hey, what? I didn't say nothing. I'm saying. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So we were talking about monster trucks.
Right.
Leaving Wapland. Well, let's go back here.
All right. So that's how we got it started. We finally got the bus. We're in. We're ready to go. So now we've got the task of putting this entire experience together, and that is the biggest work ever. It is every weekend that you're sitting on a couch watching a horror movie, I'm thinking to myself, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. So now I'm watching horror movies with a laptop on my lap, doing something, putting together promotional material, contacting somebody on emailing, all the news media down in Chicago saying, hey, we got this thing, come on out, check it out. So we're going to do a grand opening of sorts on October 1st. We're going to be open the 2 days before that, Thursday and Friday of September. But then October 1st is going to be the big one. So I've been telling people, we're going to do a grand opening October 1st. That's what we're doing it. We're going to try to get some food trucks out there. We're talking about maybe doing some live music or whatever, just so it has more of an experience. But if you get tickets, so you have to go online, monsterpurge.com, and buy your tickets. It's a timed event, meaning you got to buy the specific day and the specific time you want to go. We run the bus every half an hour. You get there early because if you're late, the bus won't wait. So you got to get on that bus. We got to take off at every half an hour on a half an hour.
That's
so
a T-shirt right there, by the way.
T-shirt.
No, if you're late, the bus won't wait.
And we got it. That's the other thing. See, we're putting together our T-shirts now, and we're getting all this other stuff done. There's so many things to do. It's maddening. And by the way, this is still while I'm doing my graphic design website company and still doing Black Martin, making products because we're coming up on the big season for Black Martin too. Yeah. So it gets a little overwhelming. I don't sleep that much, but that's okay. It works out. You got to buy it for a specific time, specific day to get your ticket. You can show up and buy a ticket at the booth, but you might not, all the seats might be sold. You might have to be turned away or say, well, we'll get you a ticket for the next day or something like that. It is not unheard of that the whole thing will sell out ahead of time.
So quick question. Yeah. So on any given night, how many runs are you going to do?
We do about 6 runs a night, starting at 6 o'clock. So I also say if you've got younger kids, come 6 o'clock show because it's not as dark, not as scary. The later it gets, it can be a little scary. Sure. But the part that doesn't really terrify people is the fact that if it's scary, you shoot it.
Yeah, that works.
So that's where the fun part is. So,
is it how long will it be? Like when you do one, question. That's a good question. That's something I wanted to know.
So since we run every half an hour, the actual ride itself is about 20 minutes. And the way we do that is the hot zone that we call it, is about 12 to 15 minutes of constant shooting. But the ride to get to the hot zone and to get back from the hot zone, that's the extra like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes time.
Sweet.
And then we have 10 minutes of load off the people on the bus and load them back on the next round. So that's why it's, we're moving. We got to keep moving to get new people on the bus, to get them out there. The ride is timed. The bus drivers that we have certain hit marks they have to make, so they know by this time I got to be at this tree or whatever. I got to do the turnaround at this point, that kind of thing.
So there's a lot of
there's coordination.
I mean, there's a lot of planning that goes into this.
There's a lot of planning to come into this. And the thing is, you don't know what else you're missing until you do it, and you're like, oh, fuck, we missed this completely. And then you got to throw that into the mix. So the driver themselves have to do things like they run the sound system. They have to radio ahead to the actors to let them know that we're coming into the zone. And not to mention driving a giant monster bus through the woods. I mean, it takes some talent. The biggest question we got, we showed the bus at the Kane County Fair, which is, by the way, where the ride's going to go, Kane County Fairgrounds in St. Charles, Illinois. But the biggest or the most frequently asked question we got, any guesses what the most frequently asked question that we got for the bus?
How much ammo do you have?
No. Damn.
I would think
that's a good one.
I would think that would be like the number one answer. Like, I would probably say, can I bring my kids? Is this going to be too scary?
Sure, we did get those questions.
On board?
That would definitely.
Toilet?
No bathroom on board.
Excuse me, sir, can I go take a shit in your field?
Yeah, none of that.
I just need a break from the zombies for a minute.
Sorry, Mr. Zombies, don't attack me. I gotta go.
You know what? It's a half an hour ride. Hold it for half an hour.
Yeah,
you can hold it for half an hour.
Literally.
The most frequently asked question we got was, can I drive the bus?
Really?
Everybody wanted to I swear to God. It was overwhelming. That was the question we got. I got people offering me $4,000 if they could drive the bus.
Wow.
And I'm like, first of all, who comes up with $4,000 off the top of their head? Why not $5,000 or one? Why four? I'll give you $4,222 if I can. So of course,
that's my favorite number.
Right, it's like $4,000. But no, we've already got drivers. We're good on drivers. No, we don't need any more. Appreciate your interest in it. You can come be a zombie. You can come be a monster. But we got drivers. Thank you.
Dude, I could think of at least 100 more things to invest for.
Who's got $4,000 to just toss for a 20-minute thing like that?
Yeah, that just makes no sense to me.
I don't know.
Dude, is that the St. Charles that you grew up in, Vinny?
St. Charles I'm in, there's a yuppie element, but not. Yeah. I didn't think it was like that. I mean,
yeah,
maybe you met the people from Fox Chase or one of those.
Probably those motherfuckers. The motherfuckers who are like, well, I got $4,000 to blow. It's either drive the monster truck or do a bunch of blow.
Right. I don't know. It's
what am I gonna do?
And if y'all are watching this from that location, you know who the fuck you are. So don't even try to pretend.
You know who you are. That is Vinny's most Italian moment of the evening. You motherfuckers know who you are.
Don't make me say it. I know who you are. You want me to tell everybody?
I know that you know that I know that you know.
The garlic and marinara is in my blood, so it does come out every now and then. It's a genetic thing,
So.
This is a legitimate problem we actually have when shooting Mark. He like the blood comes to his skin, and we have to key out all the pasta sauce on his fucking skin lines and shit like that. It's a legitimate fucking problem, and he needs to solve it.
Yeah, this is pretty great, dude.
One of Zach's many challenges.
Zach's, well, Zach's got a lot of challenges. Take that,
especially working with this asshole. Good God.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, so much. I'm a raging dick.
Back to the
back to your regular scheduled program.
Okay,
dude. All right, now it's getting a little much.
That's not overused at all.
It's getting a little much. Anyway, back to Lon and back to his wonderful business venture.
We did get a lot of other questions. Zach, maybe that's a good thing. I'll talk about some of the other questions so people who have those questions. We had to put an FAQ section on the website because we were getting so many questions.
Jesus.
Did I mention the website? It's monsterpurge.com. Go check it out. So we did get a lot of questions too, like the youngest age. Our youngest age is 6 years old, and 6 to 12 has to have an adult paid admission to sit next to them. Whether you're shooting or not, you got to pay to take next to them because 6 to 12, these are paintball guns. These are not, toys. They're actual weapons. Or paint markers, not weapons. They're markers. So there's a certain bit of, you pull a trigger, but if something gets jammed, there's a little pullback trigger, and we can help you with any of that kind of stuff on the bus. But there's an age limit, right? So 6 years old is the youngest we take. We unfortunately cannot, because of the nature of the ride, we don't have handicap access for wheelchairs and things like that, or baby strollers. If you're coming, you can't bring your 2-year-old to sit on your lap while you're doing it.
What though, and this is actually just a perfect moment for a quick thing that I have to almost vent, and I have a platform to vent it at.
Interesting.
It is. There are certain things in life that you should leave your fucking kids at home.
Oh,
and this is actually coming up a lot within Halloween Horror Nights. A lot of parents are grabbing their 6-year-olds and their 5-year-olds to come to fucking Halloween Horror Nights, which is the premier haunt in the country, if not the world. Yeah. And there's dudes with chainsaws, and there's giant clowns and everything else. And and there's a thing with this. If you want to bring your kids, that there are consequences to that. I think there should just be a general rule that you shouldn't do that anyway. But there's consequences with that. So you can't get upset if a clown comes out of nowhere and then is doing their job and scaring the fuck out of your kid, because that's what you paid for when you walked into those gates. The first thing you hear when you walk into those gates is chainsaws. And that should already give you an indication that this is a place where you're going to be fucking scared. And it's not a time to bring your 6-year-old. And don't get pissed off if your 6-year-old gets fucking scared.
Have people done that? Have you seen people
there was a whole big controversy either last year or in 2018 about a mother I think it was either, I can't remember if it was at Orlando or California, but literally it's a videotape of a clown on stilts who, by the way, can't really fucking see anything anyway. And there was a little kid who ran away from him, but there's also other people around, and he was moving. I don't even know if he was going after the kid. He was just going in the general direction. And she attempted to get that person fired, and then also threatened a lawsuit. Saying that that the performer was going after her 6-year-old child that she brought to a haunt event. Wow. So as I provide a PSA here, I love my niece and nephew. But it needs to be a couple more years. I'm even waiting on introducing Star Wars to her just so she can, really try to understand and grasp it. And there's going to be a long more time when I'm going to introduce her to other things, and her dad and her mom are going to introduce her to other things. There's a time and a place to do that. And also too is it's a mature environment. So, I get it's even more controlled with you because they're in a truck and everything else. But also at the same time, we're dealing with subject matter that is a scarier type, a horror type, and everything else. Right. And don't bring your fucking kids.
Right. That is, I get that. I totally get that. We had struggled with that age limit for a while because even when we were at the fairgrounds, we started off letting people get on the bus and check it out. And what happened was a lot of parents would be like, oh, yeah, send the kids off. Go ahead, get on the bus. He lets you get on the monster truck bus. And I'm like, that's fine, but come up with your kid so he doesn't jump out of a window or whatever. Because now I'm on the bus. I'm not the babysitter, and there's like, 13 kids running around the bus. And, they're grabbing the guns and they're the markers and they're messing with them and they're pulling things off of them. And I'm like, I'm not control. There's a certain age that's just not appropriate for some things. And I love kids. I've got 3 of them. If anybody wants to buy any, I'll sell them off. But the thing is, there's just certain things that not. Now, it's different. There's some kids who are young, who are very well behaved and can handle it and love it and enjoy it. And you're like, man, that's a cool kid. You want them on the bus all the time.
Yeah.
But we're a public event. You just got to. We will have security there, so we don't want to make any scenes or anything like that. It's 6 years old. Yeah. I'm not going to check anybody's IDs or anything at the door, but let's just say 6 years old, because that's the age that they understand what's going on.
Well, and if I got to say, though, if a 6-year-old is able to pull out an ID, then they're probably good to come on.
So your social security card.
At that point, you just let the kid. It's like, all right, you know what?
Right.
Fuck it. You get the privilege.
Right.
I'm so sorry, sir.
Right.
It's just one of those things, man, that it's. There's just some things, man, that, it's not your responsibility to be worried about. You got to do your thing and everything else. And I think I think you're more than reasonable. Reasonable to do that.
And I want people to bring their kids. I do, because, those kids, at 3-4 years down the line, they might be working for me. And
exactly.
Fantastic. I want you to bring the kids. The kids have a great time on there. But, it's one of the things we say, too, when we're talking about the rules of the ride, right? We go over the rules, like, of course, don't jump out the window, don't shoot the guy next to you, all these little rules that go on there. But mostly it's just be respectful of everybody next to you. Everybody's here to have a good time, so we want it to be a safe environment and a fun environment for everybody. So if your kid's very easily scared, don't bring them on the ride, because there's some stuff out there that's scary. Is it terribly scary? No. Is it something that you're going to, have nightmares over? I'm not saying you're going to have nightmares. Somebody might, but if your kid's easily scared, don't bring them to a horror ride.
No, absolutely. So what's the situation with the ammunition?
Okay.
So let's get into that. Let's get into the real fun stuff there.
So what you get is, with your ticket, it's $29.95 for a ticket. That rides the bus. So you get to. I should not put my hands out there. It's the Italian side of me that says. Yeah. So what we do. So
you can make all the hand movements you want.
Really? Is this one a good one for you?
That's the universal sign for I love you.
Right.
Go on and try it, kids.
So with the ride, $29.95 gets you the ticket, so you can ride the bus, which is half the experiences that you're riding a monster truck. And that gets you 100 rounds. 100 rounds will not finish the ride. We try to tell everybody you're in the hot zone for 12 to 15 minutes of shooting. That's a lot of shooting. So we tell people it takes about 300 rounds to get through it. So while you're on the bus, you can buy round pods of 100 for $10. So you hold $10 up in the air, we'll dump you another 100 rounds in your pod or your hopper.
Sure.
So that you'll get more. So it's going to take about 300 rounds to go through the thing. So that's what you get. We use 50 cal. Most paintball guns go 68 cal. They're a little bigger, so these are a little bit smaller. Remember, because we're shooting at live people, so they're in full armor. Now, that's the other thing, too. We are hiring. This is our first year, so we still need monsters out there. You're fully armored underneath a costume.
That's dope.
You have the face mask. You've got the body armor. You got neck protectors, gloves. You're fully armored underneath it. And some people have commented saying, well, geez, I don't know if I want to get shot at. But what you don't get is that this is like a rush to be out there. If you're one of the people who can handle that, you love the acting, you love being a monster, you're invincible. You're getting shot at. You're not getting hurt. You can take rounds of paintballs to the body and they're bouncing off of you. And there's a rush involved that you're like, I can get shot at as much as I can and not get hurt. So we do need actors that do out there, but not just for that. We have a runner that we need. We have people on the bus that run the bus. We have my wife will be taking care of the ticket booth / T-shirt sales, that kind of thing. But we're always looking for employees.
And Lon will be rocking the MC.
I will be what we call the barker. I will be the one on the bus barking at people, you know, hey, look at that guy, shoot that guy over there. And this is something that we've come up with that none of the other buses do. We're creating a main character for the bus, right? I won't reveal him yet, but this main character, we're going to have somebody dressed up as this main character walking around the holding area, right? Where you can buy T-shirts and there's photo ops around and, you know, just kind of hanging out, maybe food trucks and whatnot. There's a character that you can get your picture taken with or whatever, and he goes around kind of scaring you and stuff. But there's a story to the whole bus ride that this is the character that created the monsters that you are about to hunt. He's the reason that there is a wave of monsters loose in St. Charles. And there's a character dressed up like that main character that we call the Runner. He's running through the hunt. He doesn't have a section that he stays in. He doesn't stay in the graveyard section, or he doesn't stay in the toxic section. He can run through the entire haunt on his own, and his job is not to get hit. And your job is to find him and hit him. So there's a little added thing where people have to hunt that specific character. And if you get him, if you're able to shoot him and stuff, you can go get your picture taken with him out in the lobby, out in the holding area.
Nice.
So that's something nobody else does. But the difference is, too, is we're trying to make this as much like a haunted house as possible. Not as much like a paintball run with scary monsters. We're trying to make it a haunted house where you get to shoot the monsters. So we're kind of coming at it from a different angle. So we want it to be more scary, more of an environmental feel, not just running out there and shooting chaos. So
I think this is. I'm gonna make a prediction. I think this could, and I'm not just like blowing smoke up people's asses or anything, but like I seriously, I seriously could see this kind of creating a whole new wave of the type of haunted house.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If this takes off, I mean, I would not be surprised that you see people doing like full on like buildings where you'll be able to go do shit like this,
right?
Or be able to, you know.
So there is that, well, already starting.
Really,
I think it's it seems like it's only, to me it seems like it's kind of sort of a natural progression, but there is a paintball facility next to Santa's Village. And I'm going blank on the name of it off the top of my head now, and I apologize.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But they decided they're going to do a one-night only paintball run, and they don't have a vehicle. They have a field.
Yeah.
Where you buy tickets to be in this fight, and you have to choose a side. Either you're going to be a clown or a zombie.
Oh, wow.
And they go out and they have a big war between clowns and zombies. And I think it's a sensational idea.
Dude, there's so many, like...
That sounds fun. I mean...
Yeah.
There's so many, like, you know, like, I mean, I remember watching, like, and this was, like, 15 years ago, watching anything on the History Channel about, like, unique Halloween things. Right. And they have, like, a zombie run, you know, 5K run.
Sure.
And, like,
I wanted to do that 3 years ago. Yeah. I tried to do a zombie 5K, and then, like,
get it organized. Like, a pumpkin lobbing where they have, like, the giant cannons, and they fucking, launch fucking pumpkins.
Cool.
And
they do casket races.
Yeah, casket races. There was so fun.
There was some
awesome.
There was a town I was doing that for as part of like their fall fair, or their fall festival a couple of years ago near here. I can't remember, and I remember I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, oh my god, we should fucking go see that. You know, just even these kids like going in these crazy things. You know, I don't think we made it, but it'd be fun to see this year.
Like the world's largest pumpkin, they did that too.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like, you know, it could definitely be in that same vein. It's so like insane. Like, you know, I remember my dad talking about this, about Halloween, just Halloween in general. He's like, when I was a kid, like, Halloween was on the fucking way out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, because you had all the urban legends about the razor blades and shit. Candy, and like, but even then though, it was very much a kid holiday until like the 90s, because a lot of the kids that grew up in like the early the late 60s and everything else that did Halloween as a kid, and then it kind of got phased out and was only very much for little kids and never was for anybody else. And he's like, it's crazy in this explosion in the 90s where things got really, like, people got really into fucking Halloween and became an adult holiday, and, you know, and everybody involved, and it just seems to be a snowball effect of like more and more creative shit that happens in relation to Halloween.
I totally agree. It is the second most celebrated holiday currly.
And next to Christmas.
States.
And by the way,
it should be the first.
And by the way, the 7 in 2019 they took a record $7 billion in consumer products in the United States
for Halloween.
For Halloween, just in the United States, $7 billion in revenue.
The decorations alone.
The decorations alone. I mean, like
right up there with Christmas.
The Christmas has a lot more elements. It by a landslide, but no other holiday was in the billions besides Christmas and Halloween.
Jesus.
That's true.
No other thing. Like so Americans spend $7 billion of their own money on Halloween.
That's why I have Black Martin.
Yeah,
There you go.
get your a little percentage of that $7 billion.
Get my 0.5% and all that.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'd love 0.5% of $1 billion.
We all would. Nobody would not take that.
Right.
It's crazy like how much they spend and how creative it's becoming, and and how much things are expanding. I think it's just the natural progression of things.
I agree. I think that part of that too is with all the 80s horror movies, and then we had the 90s, which kind of sucked for horror movies, and the early millennia that kind of, I shouldn't say sucked. They just weren't as good as the 80s. And people kept going back to the 80s. And then it became, how do you top that? How do you become scary after all this? Everything's been done. And people found ways, and there were more scary things come out. And I thought, I never thought I could get scared by a horror movie again, because I've watched so many of them. Am I jaded? Am I just, nothing can scare me? Because I love the thrill of being scared, and nothing's scaring me anymore. And then Ring came out, and I was like terrified of Ring, and I'm like, holy cow.
That is one of
those fucking Japanese people, man. They know how to get that shit done.
Dude, I'm all about that.
That's that one, the original. Well, I'm going to be honest, the American one.
The American version.
The American version, not to shit on the Japanese one.
Ringu is good.
Ringu's good, but the American one, that is one of the... I mean, I've been spooked by horror movies, but that is one of the big horror movies that truly scared and disturbed me for a few days. It was just friggin' mostly, I mean, I like spooky horror movies and stuff, but they usually kind of bring me, it's kind of one of those, do they actually scare you or do they more fill you with joy, and think about that.
There's a correlation with that. That's one of the reasons horror is so popular, is because the exhilaration you get of being scared is an adrenaline rush.
Right.
That's why when I felt so exhilarated the next morning after having nightmares all night and tossing and turning, being scared of every shadow in the room, that I woke up excited.
Well, dude, everybody has that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say everybody has their memory, and I'm like getting a deja vu here, because yesterday we were literally talking about how, because fear is part of your lizard brain, it's so primal that everybody understands fear.
Yeah.
But everybody understands that I think everybody here, everybody that I know that loves horror movies, can probably trace back to a moment like yours. I mean, I was, and I watched it years later, and it's kind of whatever. But I was watching House on Haunted Hill.
Oh, the original.
The remake with James Woods. The original, the remake with James Woods.
Okay.
And I did not watch. I was literally in my mom's apartment. You had to walk down a hallway to get from the bedroom to the bathroom, and there was a little open area in the living room, and that's where the TV was. And my mom and then later my stepdad were watching House on Haunted Hill, and it happened to be the scene where James Woods was going up to talk to his security officer at the with all the screens.
James Woods is in that?
Yeah, and he pulled the chair around. I might be conflating two different movies.
You mean Jeffrey Rush or no?
I don't know. The main character literally grabbed the chair of the security guard that's watching all the monitors and pulled him around, and his face, skull, and brain are gone.
Oh.
And I was 8, and I saw that, and I'm like, "Holy fuck!" That was the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen. And the effect was good. They had a really good dummy to actually do the practical. And I remember and then leaving, because my mom never saw me. I told her years later about that. She's like, you saw that?
Saw that?
This is also the same mom that said
that wrecked your brain.
Literally a month later, my mom's like, oh, you can watch the 1986 Blob. It's a lot like the 50s one. And I saw that fucking scene where the kid dies badly at the same age that kid was. And my mom quickly after that scene grabbed the the fucking remote and trying to turn it off. I was like, it's too late, Mom. My childhood's already scarred. Thanks.
Yep.
But I have a very distinct memory about watching that scene with the guy with no face and being like, that was fucking crazy, but also that's fucking cool. They it's amazing that like, and then years later I met these crazy people and then I became more of a fan. But it's funny that everybody has those distinct memories. Zach has those memories of being 2 and watching Predator, or Freddy or Jason or whatever the case may is. He has a lot of those memories.
That kind of explains a lot.
This shit, like from the age of, like I said, I've been watching horror movies and playing games since 2 years old. My first video game ever was Mortal Kombat 2. That is where my video game legacy started.
Rip your spinal cord out your ass.
Kog'Maw specifically. Just that whole hat trick.
What is
this is awesome?
Yeah.
What is like the first scary character you guys can recall watching in a movie?
Shit.
Freddy Krueger.
Well,
Like as a little kid,
Yeah, for me it was Freddy.
Wolfman.
all those,
Specifically, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. That was the first slasher movie that I remember watching. Yeah,
Interesting.
Like
The New Nightmare,
I know I've watched stuff with my
So
mom
you've seen
beforehand.
that before you saw the original?
Yeah, so
Nightmares?
okay, so when it comes to the Nightmare and the Friday movies, so with Nightmare it was Wes Craven's New Nightmare, then starting from 1 and going all the way back up. With Friday the 13th, it was part 7 was the first, then 8, 9, 10, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Freddy versus Jason.
So they got better for you as you went, because if you started at 7 and then worked your way back to 1, then you got to appreciate how good 1 was. Well, I hope, or 2 actually. Really.
So here's the thing: 7, the Kane Hodder movies are my favorite, without a shadow of a doubt. Right, 7 is my all-time favorite. 10 is my second favorite. Then it's part 3, part 4, and then you could kind of mix and match. My least favorite is part 5, but I still enjoy it. It is still a fun movie.
Was 5 Manhattan? No, 5 was...
No.
The kid,
8 was Manhattan. Part 5 was the one with Roy, the guy who's not Jason.
Dude, 5 is literally the Halloween 3 of the Friday the 13th franchise.
To a degree.
What? Yeah, is that the... Okay, there was a figure I saw of a Jason without the mask, but he's like wearing like a headpiece or something.
That's Roy.
That's what that is.
So the one with the blue chevrons on the hockey mask, or the one where it has where it looks like he's wearing the headpiece or whatever, that's Roy.
So that's the plot you were talking about, where they were almost like trying to eradicate Jason, but it's like, well, we got to do another one, so they actually made it like a person was being Jason.
So they were kind of going to go with the idea that essentially somebody was going to take up that mantle with each movie, but everybody's just like, they hated that idea, so it's just like, all right, let's just bring Jason back from the dead.
And
that's where you get part 6.
And that's how he became, you said, actually undead Jason.
Yeah, undead Jason, zombie Jason, whatever you want to call it.
That's when he went to a supernatural, because before that was
officially.
The thing. That's why
roided out zombie.
So he was not. So Jason was not supernatural in the original.
No,
he was a mutant.
No,
he was not.
He was not supposed to be.
He was basically a mutant. He's basically a mutant.
A kid who lived on his own in the woods and raised himself.
What was something that you thought would be easy and end up being incredibly difficult? And then also the inverse. What is something that you thought would be incredibly difficult but actually ended up being very easy?
Specific to Monster Purge?
The Monster Purge, yep.
I'd say one thing that was, well, let's start with, that I thought was super easy that turned out to be really hard, was the creative process to put scenes and the layout of the run together.
Interesting.
I have seen my buddy Bob's run and how he did it. I had seen Skylar's run and how he did it. So knowing that and knowing I wanted to be different, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk, because I did, home haunts for so long. That's all I did was come up with the path and what scenes are going to be where and what's the story of everything. And a lot of everybody else doesn't do the story, right? The story is the zombies. It's a zombie apocalypse, go out and kill them. I'm creating a story, much like the haunted houses do, at least in our area they do, where there's a reason things are happening, and there's a reason this scene is this way, and the next scene is a progression of that scene. It's not just random scenes put together. There's a story there. And I thought, I do this all the time, there's no problem. And then coming out with a reason for this to happen and coming up with the character that's causing all this stuff, then it was like, okay, this is taking a lot more time. I'm getting way more in depth than I thought it was going to be. I'm going overboard on the story and, creating a scene and making this make sense. Maybe I should just make it a scary scene. And then I'd come back and I'm like, no, I want this to be good. I want this to be right. So I'm making it hard on myself, I guess, is basically what I'm doing. So, and then something that I thought would be incredibly hard that turned out to be super easy was driving the bus.
Really?
I thought, because I was a little intimidated, it is not a stick. It is an automatic, but it's a push button automatic, which is weird because you push it in reverse and you push a button to go into neutral. And it's air brakes and hydraulic brakes over air brakes in the back.
Interesting.
It's 4-wheel steering, meaning you turn the wheels in the front, the big steering wheel for the front, and then there's a switch on the side that you click to the right to make the back wheels turn right. So I can, make sharper turns and whatnot. And I thought, how do I, with the, once you start doing it, you get the hang of it. It's not that tough. And I can crab walk with the damn thing. That's pretty cool. I can turn all the way to the right, but then just kind of park it to the side.
That's fucking fantastic.
That turned out to be it's a lot of fun driving the bus. No, you cannot drive the bus. I've got drivers.
You keep your $4,000.
I don't have a license, but can I drive the bus?
Absolutely not. Jesus Christ.
May not.
No.
All right.
No,
Can
sir.
I park the bus on top of Mark?
No.
That does sound fun, though. But no, I'm afraid he's going to pop my tires.
Shit, you're probably right.
Shit, dude. Lucky for popping tires. So about those Cadillacs.
Right.
Vertically or horizontally? How many can we fit in here?
Depends if you chop them up.
Awesome, man, dude. We're so fucking excited about this, man. Yeah. So I before we get to the question of the podcast, is there any other fun tidbits that you wanted to add about this this incredible new thing?
Being that it's a new venture, the simple fact that this is our first year out, I want it to be as good as possible. I ran out of money to finish it months ago, and I'm still going to finish this. So I want it to be as epic as possible now. And then people to come back next year and say, okay, if it was that good now, maybe it's going to be better. And damn right it's going to be better. Because that's the whole thing. It's its first year. And I'm not going to make excuses for it. It's going to be a fantastic ride. I'm just saying that I want to keep improving year after year. So that every year it'll be different monsters, different scenes, maybe different storyline, maybe different main character. It's going to be different every time so you can keep coming back to it. And we do have people that have already been asking about season tickets because they want to come every weekend. We don't have season tickets yet, but by next year we'll have season tickets.
That's fucking awesome.
Come frequent.
So I do have a question in the podcast because it kind of stems into what we've been talking about and a couple other things. And then in truest fashion, because Lon is our guest, he can answer first. But if he doesn't have an answer right away, he can always pass the buck and we can come back to him. Okay. So
challenge.
What is a Halloween attraction that you have not seen been done that you would love to see? Because there's it keeps constantly progressing and you're obviously introducing something new and I'm like, this is going to keep going. So what is something that you're like, damn, I wish that they would do X?
Interactive horror movies inside of a haunt.
Explain.
Okay. I would love it if there was an experience that was beyond just walking through the haunted house. Sort of, and I don't want to say it's like an escape room where you have tasks, but let's just say you do have to do certain things to get out. So in other words, when you go in there, if you follow the storyline, you know that there's a goal if you want to get out. So you're part of the story and you learn about the story. Because I love haunted houses that have a story, but when you go through them, sometimes you're rushing through so fast and there's so many things. You go like this and next thing you know, you're out of it. And I'm like, man, that was some cool stuff. I want to go back through just to look at the stuff and I want to take my time. But, they push it through because they've got to get more people in. Yep. I would love it if it was smaller groups and you had a goal and you had to become part of the storyline. Whereas if you got 3 doors in front of you, you got to pick which door you're going to go into. Or if there's... like you got a choice to go through the woods or go through the swamp. You got to pick which one you do because one will kill you. One leads you to the exit, let's say, and the other one actually lets you continue on.
Nice.
That's what I would
cool.
go with.
Nice. I just thought of something, but I think Zach's going to steal it, so I don't want to steal it from him.
Oh, you got to steal it from him.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But I think something that would be awesome that is done but not really done is because I'm all about like finding out how the sausage is made and on things and like I would love to have like tours or classes for regular folks to come in and be taught how. First of all, be taught about the ins and outs of running a haunted house.
Yeah. And
also, just giving them a tour and showing them how the mechanics work and how the science behind it all works. And then also having the scare actors literally bring them into the nooks and crannies of it. Because there's a lot of like really dark spots in haunted houses where a lot of security guards hang out and a lot of other things. Right. And have them like charge them a private tour to literally sit in the back in the shadows or behind like a see-through glass and everything else, the reversible glass, and then just watch it from the actor's perspective and how the whole thing works from behind the scenes. It's almost like a backlot tour, so to speak, about how it all fits together and how it all works. Now, of course,
awesome.
A lot of people wouldn't like that because they don't want to reveal the magician's secrets. Right. But I think that would be very cool for the general public to, because the thing. When you're a kid, you just go into a haunted house. You're a teenager, you go into a haunted house. When you're an adult, you just go into a haunted house. Like, you're, and you just want to be scared. But sometimes you take for granted, and I'm sure as you know, how much hard work and dedication from every angle this comes in. Not just the people who run the front office, the designers, the science behind it, the actors, and how they have to, when to scare people and when to flash the misdirection. I mean, there's so much like, science behind it of let's have a strategic fan here, a blow fan here. So you look this way, and then by the time you're readjusting your fucking head, there's already a dude right here.
Right.
It's a dance. It's a dance. And
it is.
And to explain the choreography to somebody and really give them an appreciation, I think would be a really cool experience.
I've got something for you. Because first of all, I think that's awesome. Hell's Gate does a webisode or a web show. Have you seen them?
I have not seen them. No.
They have something where it's behind the scenes of how they do what they do and the storyline. It's sort of like a reality show kind of thing that they just put together themselves. Yeah. But it's them putting together a haunted house.
No, for sure.
And they go through it like John Laflamboy is he's a very theatrical kind of guy. So he makes sure there's storylines and he makes sure that the characters in the sight line. So like, if you're going to a room where everything's on one level, you're not going to see it. You got to put some stuff on the floor. You got to put some stuff above, and it's all systematic. And another good friend of mine from Evil Intentions, Michael Fitzpatrick, he's really into that. Like, there's so much work that goes into it, and 80% of the people are scared and run right by and don't see it and don't get to appreciate the artistry that went into that set.
Exactly.
If you see them during the daylight, they're still impressively scary sets with so much detail. And you're like, half the people don't see them, but it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that's, and from at least from what I want, it's almost the difference between walking the back lot and then watching a behind the scenes DVD commentary. Like to have that visceral experience of being there and touching the sets and being present with them and everything else. That's a whole different ball game. And I think as we've approached into this crazy fucking digital age and everything else where everything is so separated and everything else, it'd be cool to invite them into the real thing.
I think that's a great
idea. So I'm sure somebody will steal that. Vinster, you got some opportunity to think about some stuff.
It took me a second, but I was like, okay, I got something. This is something. Fuck it, maybe we'll fucking start this. I don't know.
Oh man,
this isn't quite.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't even. It may suck. Dude, I've literally been. He's been one of my closest friends for a decade. I can't. I'm just gonna go in it.
This
whatever.
Wouldn't be quite like a typical necessarily. Like I mean, I guess in a way it's an attraction, but it would more be, and this is again the theater and the writer person coming out of me, would be whether it's a company, whether whatever, but a staging of completely original, like a collection of original horror plays, completely original, written by original writers. And staged and everything. You would go in with your ticket. You would see one show. Maybe there'd be like an intermission. You'd see another. And they could even be almost like one acts, like in the range of like 30 to 40 minutes each long. Maybe do 3, 4 of them or something. And I just think a company could really do something with that. I mean, and you could. I think it would definitely be very big during Halloween. But this is something you could technically do off and on year round. Hell, you could even have special ones centered around holidays. What if you did a Christmas horror one where it was a collection? It was a collection of 3 or 4 Christmas horror plays, the original, and it would just give actors and especially writers such a creative outlet who want to explore that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And there's nowhere near the amount of theater horror than there should be. There should be way fucking more.
And if there was, I guarantee you theater would actually gain a bigger audience.
Oh yeah, dude,
it would
absolutely.
gain a massive audience because, you know, I hate to say it, there's a reason people believe the theater's dying.
Well, dude, and also, dude, and there's only so many fucking musicals you can watch. You know, and this is something coming from somebody who loves musicals.
Same.
Like there's only so many musicals that you can watch. I mean, eventually, you know, it gets fucking tiring to say, you know, like, you know, the I love you. Let me tell you how I feel. Like, you know, and then busting in a fucking song. Like I'm good.
Well,
man.
and off that, you can only see how many plays can you go see that are just like some social whatever thing, some kind of message spewing story, or some like something with like, you know, it's always got to be something heavy or something real life or something this and that. It's like, you ever think that people want to go maybe see a play of a story that's just fucking fun, just takes you into some wild world and tells you a wild fucking story, and that can still be done on stage.
Yeah, it absolutely can be done on stage. So
there's a reason why I love the Evil Dead play.
Exactly.
It's one of the greatest play I've ever seen. Such a fun time. Splatter zones are necessary.
I give a shit if you're doing Hello Dolly. The fucking splatter zone for you.
Well, and that's the thing. My idea with this would be you could absolutely have the splatter zones in these plays. You could have little bit of audience even interaction, or, you know, I mean, there is a theater that does that. I mean, there's all sorts of ways this could be done.
Well, dude, I mean, you can also do it like the horror version of Tony and Tina's wedding. Like, literally have the fucking audience like in there with the actors and everything else. It'd be fucking balls, man. It'd be great. So Zach Attack, I'm sure you got a couple different things.
So I got kind of 2 specifically. So the first one is I want kind of a shooter haunting house experience, and the first thing that comes to mind is something solo. Like, you go in alone, you have a double-barrel shotgun filled with something that won't kill somebody, or actually kill them if you get enough actors, and make it like a Doom experience. So it's just like you're walking through the gates of hell, or into a UAC Mars laboratory or something like that, and you're just killing demons from Doom and shit like that. But here's the thing, you have to be alone. You are the Slayer. You're going and you're just kicking ass, ripping and tearing like a motherfucker. That would be awesome. Now, another thing is,
as long as you're not too passionate about it.
Yeah, man. And like, there's, dude, Lon, I'm telling you, man, like, it's so, like, there's just not enough, man. There's just not enough passion, dude.
The second one is,
like, I'm feeling very not inspired right now.
Shut up, Mark. So the second one is a true predator hunting experience. So this one would have to take place in a forest, a jungle, or something like that. You have an actor who's preferably big and nimble and can like climb trees and shit like that and leap from branch to branch and just hunt whatever group of people you have loaded with. Like, one guy has to get a chain gun. Like, we have to have the Blaine of the group. Right. We got it's just like, you have to hunt, either get the fuck away from the predator, survive the predator, or somehow kill the predator. Make it even cooler. Make it to where he can, like, he has a biomass that can only see in thermal, and he has to use that thing. So if you really want to get into it and lather yourself up in mud and actually use it as active camo to make it that much cooler, you can. These are the 2 ideas I want to see, and if I had enough money, I would make them.
Come on, kill me now. Do
it.
Dude, like, it also reminds me of like the best fucking line in honest trailers for Predator, the movie that is so good you completely forget that 75% of it is silently looking at trees. It's so true.
Zach, I think your idea and my idea are much closer than you think. And not to being reality, but I mean like the ideas itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Mine's an interactive thing and yours is an interactive thing in a sort of different direction, but it's the same sort of concept.
That's one of the reasons why I love your idea. It's just,
I think it's possible.
I'm hoping that the guns are spaced close enough apart so I could just go akimbo on those motherfuckers.
No, I knew you'd have to go.
Double, dude. You know, and also too, it's just I think we all can agree, and there's a certain economics with this, unfortunately. But I think if you adjusted some of your price points, you could probably figure it out. There is not enough haunted houses where you rock solo or just rock with your group.
Agreed.
Like there isn't enough. There isn't enough of that, and I get that there's an economics thing with this. A very, very short story. I was at Halloween Horror Nights, and it was the end of the night, and we were at the end of the park. And if you've ever been to a major theme park, you'll know that it takes a long time for people to walk the fuck out. And those are that last hour is the time when you get to sneak into all the rides, like because then there's a 5-minute wait. And we were at the far end of the park, and there was a haunted house that we hadn't been. It was a forest theme park, forest theme haunted house. It was great, and there was a couple the people who run the lines, a couple staff members. We're just chilling. It's that moment like right before close when you got to do all the bullshit, and they're just chilling, talking. Like, hey, are you guys still open? Can we just run in there? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. But just so you know, you're the only ones that are going to be in there, man. Like, it's just you and the actors. And then all of us collectively looked at each other. We're like, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we went in there right away. And that experience. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love Halloween Horror Nights. I love haunted houses. You go through the conga line, as we call it. Right. But when you're there with just your group. You hear things too, by the way, other things that the artists that came up with those haunted houses have added in that you don't normally hear when there's a large crowd. You hear the little crickets in the background and cracks and things like that and like little movements. And you're like, this is a totally different experience. Yeah. And
much more real.
Much more real and much more visceral. And I know that there are several people that would pay a higher price point to just do it as a group. Like if a normal ticket costs $30, make it 50. Right. And it's just you and your group, and then they have a clicker and they time it. Right. To keep it going. I think people would pay that extra price point to go in solely.
I was going to say, like, for that whole, like, Doom Slayer experience, I'd pay $100. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Yeah. There's some things that people have nostalgia towards, and I really think that people would pay extra money to go in just solo.
Totally agree. I would have paid more to go into some of these haunted houses, so I have the time to look at the stuff and appreciate what they did. And get into the story more.
Although I do that and I get in trouble because I jam up the fucking line. See,
that's what I mean. You don't want to be able to get in trouble for that. You want to enjoy it.
I get like a fucking flagged over like a nervous air traffic controller operator. Like go! Like a fucking Navy SEAL jumping out of an airplane.
Actually, that brings me back to one idea. So this is another idea I had kind of as a suggestion for like the Halloween Horror Nights people or whatever. If you want to get people through the haunted house quicker, what you do is you make a haunted house where you're chased through the fucking thing. Sure. So it's just like as soon as you enter, there's like one guy is just like wait, run. Yeah. And it's just like Leatherface is chasing you the entire time. And you're like, fuck! I will sign a waiver. I don't give a shit. If I break my leg, it's that much cooler. Right. It's gonna suck.
As long as you sign the waiver,
that much cooler.
It's like Zex is all about the art. I'm the one who has to think about the lawsuits.
You could almost like add in like a tag element to it. Like, what if, like, if you got tagged, you get, like, knocked out of it or something
like that. Can't continue.
And you gotta go through, like, the exit doors or something?
Otherwise, some people might not run. They'll be like, run. Oh, you come at me, bro. Yeah. But you're right. If there's a motivation for them to run.
Well, they did that with the Zombie K run where they actually had regular people and they have the flags. They have flags on like flag football and the zombies.
That's a great idea.
And then you die. And I'm like, that's perfect to enter in the haunted house.
That's a great idea.
So I've got this concept for one of the rooms in the haunted house if I ever get to actually doing my own haunted house kind of thing. But with a big warehouse where you walk into this one room and you can't see anything on both sides. All you see is way across the way a light over one doorway that says exit. And you're like, okay, all I got to do is make it through this completely dark room the size of a warehouse to get to that other thing. And as you step into the room and the door shuts behind you, lights go on off in the distance and there's hundreds of zombies. And they all start charging at you. And you have to make it to that door before hundreds of zombies get you.
Love this idea.
Bring a spare pair of pants.
Exactly. Because it's that one rush where you're like, all right, I don't know what's there, so I got to make it to that, which is scary. But then you're like, when you get to see that many people coming after you,
Yeah.
you're gonna run.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, gentlemen, we're gonna close this out. This has
It's only been 3 hours.
I know it's only been 3 hours. It's been absolutely fantastic. The Lon. I hate you so much for that.
Was that a game show?
I don't know what. Dude, Zach is having way too much fun with this fucking sound effect. Lon, sir, this is your opportunity to look directly into camera, that one specifically, and tell all the nice people where they can find you on your social medias. Talk about where they can find about this new business venture. Pretty much every media plug you can think of.
Great. So, Black Martin, go to blackmartin.shop. You can find our products there. We do lots and lots of trade shows, conventions, horror conventions in the Chicagoland, Wisconsin, Indiana area. Come out and visit us. Follow us on Facebook. You can find out where we're going to be and what projects we're working on next. And of course, the big thing is Monster Purge. Brand new for Illinois and St. Charles. We're the only one of our kind within 200 miles. So come see us at Monster Purge. Buy your tickets ahead of time. Buy them now because it is possible they get sold out. You won't be able to get in. We will be open every weekend in October, including the last 2 days of September. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all through October, including Halloween Day, which is a Monday this year. We will also be open on Halloween Day. We start around 6. We end around 11, depending on what day it is. So come on out and see us for the most unique haunted experience in Chicagoland. MonsterPurge.com.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. And then of course, Mr. Vinny, always an absolute pleasure having you on, man. Dude, stay tuned to the Midwest Horror. We have an awesome new show that we're developing, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna announce it right now.
I'm excited.
It is called Ghost 666.
1666 Ghost.
My dyslexic ass.
Jesus
666.
You had one chance to not fuck that up.
Yeah, you know what? I was either gonna fuck up the title or your last name. I picked the title.
Do them both.
Pick the title. It's going to be a fantastic show. We thought what would it be like if we mixed Reno 911 with Ghost Hunters. Us being all awesome fans of it, and both myself, Vinny, and Zach will all be in the show. We're going to rope Lon into being a guest spot at some point. It's absolutely going to happen. It's going to be a terrific show. Completely un-PC for those people. I suggest if you are easily offended, do not watch the show. But if you do have a really good sense of humor and you love that type of comedy, the Reno 911, old school Comedy Central type of comedy, you will absolutely love this show. Stay tuned. We're going to be filming it and releasing it very, very soon. That being said, thank you so much for stopping by the Nightmares podcast. It is always awesome to see you all. If you were watching us on YouTube, as I knock that, it's the Italian thing, man. Fucking too much hands. Too many hands, dude. Too much.
Too much hands.
If you are watching this on YouTube, if you'd be so awesome to stab that like button, smash that subscribe, and click that little dingy bell to be notified every time we drop amazing content, just like that show I just told you about. You can find this podcast where all podcasts are available, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, all those great ones. And if you be so kind to check us out on social media, we are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Slasher. The social media for all things horror. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time on the Nightmares Podcast. Bye, guys. There you go to wide. Everything else. Wave. Hey, everybody wave.
Nice.
Everybody wave to wide camera. Yay.
Oh, the live camera.
And Lon's got the royal, I'm just turning the light bulb. Just turning the light bulb. Gene pulls the jacuzzi back up.